All righty. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
I'm feeling okay. Watched a great weekend of football and also got a college football national championship in there.
Yeah, it was. I was just talking about it. Marcus Freeman is one hell of a coach, bro. To get to the national championship game with a guy that can't pass, that's impressive, bro. In today's college football, if we were, back in the early '80s or 1970s or '60s, and you're there, I'm not impressed because that's kind of what everybody else is. But in today's high-powered offenses, for Notre Dame to get to this point, what a job by Marcus Freeman. What a job.
Yeah. And I was watching that first drive where they took 10 minutes off the clock right away, score a touchdown, convert, what was it, a couple third downs, and was one a fourth down as well. And
Yeah.
I mean, to punch it in where Riley Leonard's throwing up from how hard he worked off the first drive alone, I thought maybe they were on to something, but then the rest of the game really didn't go Notre Dame's way until they tried to mount a comeback at the end. But credit to
they made it interesting at the end. When they went up 3 scores, did you think they were going to make it interesting? Because I thought my money was in the bank and it was over.
Okay? No, yeah. And all the conversation on X was, this should have been a matchup in some other round, or we're missing out on the 2 best teams here. But it made it interesting at the end. All you could ask for,
dude. You can't complain when you get down to the final. You wanted your playoff, you got your playoff, bro. And whoever got to the playoff has earned it because they had
exactly
times here. So, it's always like people just want to pile on to complain.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We literally got down to these 2 teams by them winning games through a bracket for 3 previous rounds before this. You could say maybe some things about who gets a bye and this and that, but they won on the field 3 times to get here. By the way, the bracket just fell in place for them. Ohio State also did upset the number 1 seed en route there, so then that's why one of the top teams was taken out, and it was a season where you had a number 2 overall seed in Georgia, which already had 2 losses. So yeah,
or maybe Ohio State's bad loss. Well, maybe they were the number 1 team all along because the way they were playing down the stretch, they were playing like the best team in the country. You know what I'm saying? So,
once they got to the playoffs, yeah.
Right. Sometimes it's when you get hot, dude, and maybe that's when you're the best team. And they got hot at the right time. You just got to give them credit, dude. That's why I laid the points, and I said, forget it. I'm going with Ohio State, and I'll thank the Buckeyes that they got me more Caspa yesterday. So that's all that matters. All right. Weaver is getting a second interview with the Saints. What are you hearing?
Yeah, second interview coming on Wednesday, tomorrow, with New Orleans. So that tells you he's a finalist. He's coming down to it. I know they're also still talking to Aaron Glenn, who he has a lot going with the Jets, his former team.
He ain't leaving the building, bro. Yeah. Look, the Patriots, the second Vrabel was available, they fired Mayo because that's who they wanted. And the Jets, this is all a charade, bro. Aaron Glenn's going there, dude. Aaron Glenn turned down the Patriots because he wants the Jets too.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think also he might have been turning down Patriots interviews just because he already knew that
Vrabel had
Mike Vrabel. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which, yeah. I mean, the whole fan interview thing going on in the NFL to comply with the Rooney Rule, things like that. But
here's my problem with that Rooney Rule shit. Okay,
yeah.
It this way because I'm the brutally honest guy. Okay, I just told you the Patriots had their guy, the Jets their guy. The dude happens to be black. The guy they want Aaron Glenn, and the guy the Patriots wanted happens to be white. It's not a color thing. They like that guy. They think that guy fits their culture, and he's the best guy in their culture. And when you look at Vrabel, he was probably the best guy to understand the Patriot culture, the Patriot way, walk in there, and he's a terrific coach. Aaron Glenn has proven to be a hell of a defensive coordinator. He was a former Jet. He's been in the building. They know him well, all that stuff. They like him. They want him. Sometimes you got to allow people to hire whoever the hell they want. And it might be one color or another sex or another nationality or whatever. Or sometimes everything isn't about race and all that. Sometimes it's about that guy fits what we want to do. And in this case, Aaron Glenn is the perfect fit for the Jets. And Vrabel is the perfect fit for the Patriots. I mean, that's elementary. You need to overthink this stuff. Sometimes it's not about race or whatever. Sometimes it's about that's the right fit. Period.
Here's an idea that I've had, and I'll just be spitballing this. Is what if a team that has a head coaching vacancy could either at the start either declare we are going through a search or we have a target candidate, and we're focusing in on this guy. Where if you declare with the league and it's public, you are focusing in on this one guy, then you conduct your interviews with him. If you strike a deal, that's your guy. You don't have to go through the whole interview multiple people. But if you're going through a search, you can say, all right, now we need to comply with the Rooney Rule. We need to make sure because we legitimately are looking for all available candidates. And also, if you have your target candidate and then you realize, okay, maybe we're not so set on him after the interviews, you could open it up to a search, and then you have to comply with the Rooney Rule, everything else. So, just an idea. Because you put these coaches through.
I know, but let me just get a wrecking ball to everything you said.
Good boy. All right, let's hear it.
And everything the NFL is doing. Do you watch anything that happened yesterday at all in the White House?
It was on TV, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was doing some work.
Did you actually watch what went on? Did you actually read into what went on?
Tell me what you're getting at here.
The Orange Man. Did you see what he did yesterday?
He did a lot of things.
No. See, you would have picked up on if you know what I'm talking about. He signed out
the DEI thing.
He eliminated it. Where do you think that pressure comes from for all these organizations to do this? And by the way, who do you think is the most, bluntly league that says we do whatever the hell we want to do and you don't have any say in it? Who is it? The NFL. So if the NFL sees that the government has lifted that requirement from any business and any government job, what do you think is going to happen to all the workplaces that were forced to carry that now? Now they're all going to eliminate it. And now they're all going to say, we're going to go back to hiring whoever the hell we want to hire and who we think fits our system, our culture, we think is the best person and all of that. We no longer have to go through the circus that is, okay, well, we've got to give this person an opportunity, that person an opportunity, that person, because we've got to show this when, most of the time they weren't hiring through that. They were hiring whoever they want anyway. So what Trump did yesterday will now open the door for many to just eliminate that and say that's no longer a requirement anymore. We're going to hire who we think is the best person. That's it.
Okay, so does that more? I don't know if that's so much a wrecking ball to it, or more so agrees with what I'm saying.
Well, no, because you were saying, well, let's go and try to, start to talk to different people. They won't have to do that anymore.
Oh yeah, because you think it's going to be abolished completely.
Oh yeah. They can put up some charade. They'll put up some weak ass rule. We'll still, do all that. But in the end, owners are going to do whatever the hell they wanted to do anyways. Now you're going to legally take that out of the way because that way you eliminate the Brian Floreses of the world.
Yeah.
Understand? Once you eliminate the law, the rule out of it, then there's nothing that you can challenge on anymore. And so now it's ownership can hire whoever the hell they want. because that's who they want to hire. You know what I mean? And in the end, that's really the way it should be. Unfortunately,
you can hire who they want regardless.
You shouldn't be telling anybody that owns a business who they should hire. That doesn't make any sense to me. But what do I know?
Well, at the end of the day, even under the current format, ownership can still hire whoever they want. It's just right. They still do. So it's only requirements as far as, okay, make sure you talk to people who represent different backgrounds, because you might end up finding something. That's the hope, is like, okay, wait, you might find something here. Like, you talk to an Anthony Weaver when you weren't expecting to, and then you might come away taken aback. I agree. Totally impressed. You talk to an Anthony Weaver, you're going to come away impressed. So
I totally agree with that, but I'm just telling you what the reality is turning into. And the reality is turning into that program is going to disappear, and those requirements are going to disappear in a lot of business environments. And if there's one environment that it'll definitely disappear from, is the NFL more than maybe not the NBA, but the NFL. Oh, please, dude. Come on, bro. Those owners.
The NFL I could see, but there will still be a lot of pushback. There will be a lot of pushback to not eliminate some of these things. So
you can push all you want. They push harder. They
push pretty hard.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's where I think this will end up going in that direction, where all that kind of stuff will not be able to be enforced anymore, because if it's not enforced by the government, then it's just going to be a lot less by corporations and organizations all throughout the country. Some will still maintain it and try to maintain that integrity and all that kind of stuff. But others are going to go back to, you know what, this at least frees me to hiring whoever I want to hire, and not because I got to fill a quota or something like that. So, unfortunately, I'm just telling you, this is where we're going.
Yeah. I mean, between the whole where we're going aspect of it, but I think that's just more of like a happy medium where, okay, a team could on the front end say, we've got our target guy, and then, we don't have to then go through all these interviews. But on the other end, if you are going through a search and you're opening it up and it is a legitimate search where you're looking into multiple candidates, then I could see it where you still have to find your minority candidates, because at least those aren't sham interviews where a team already knows who it wants, and through those interviews.
Right, like Aaron Glenn knew that Vrabel was going. You know what I mean?
So he was going to go just like be their charade and, all right, thanks for coming in. We're not hiring you, but thanks for helping us fill our quota.
Just like I think the white guys that are interviewing for the Jets are pretty much quotas, because they want Aaron Glenn, dude.
Do you need to fill the quota on the other end? Do you need to fill it the other way? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, you don't. But I'm joking that the white guys that are going in are just a quota because they want Aaron Glenn, and I don't have a problem with that, dude. Whoever the hell you want, it's about winning. Those people are about winning. They're not about color. They don't really give a shit. In sports, they really don't give a shit about color. That's one environment where they're not really worried about hiring color. They need to win, dude. They don't care if the person's a female. If there's a female that starts climbing through the ranks that wins, she'll get hired too, dude. That's all they give a shit about, is winning. And if they think Aaron Glenn's the guy, then they're going to hire Aaron Glenn. It is what it is, right? The Bucs said, we're missing a guy. We need Tony Dungy. He's the guy to kind of bring the balance. I mean, the Colts. He's the guy we need to bring the balance to Peyton Manning's, defense and all that. And they did that, and that's who they wanted. And they got what they wanted, and the Bucs wanted John Gruden at that moment. And sometimes it's just who you want, because you think that person's qualified. It fits what you're doing. And in the Colts case, they nailed it when they wanted Tony Dungy. In the Bucs case, they nailed it at that moment, that John Gruden was the guy for their defense that needed the balance on offense. For the Colts, their offense needed the balance on defense. So they got the right person. It had nothing to do with color. You know what I'm saying? It's just
even in our personal lives. Like, I mean, when the Dolphins beat job with the Sun Sentinel came open, I was a promotion from within, because hey, we already got a guy that could come right up and fulfill the role. We don't need to open it up and go through a whole hiring process and sunset and all.
And train somebody else to learn the beat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing you got to do.
I'm sure my sports editor got so many emails when they found out it was Safed who was before me, Safed Dean, when he goes to USA Today. And I'm sure my sports editor got a ton of emails like, I'm interested in this Dolphins job. And it's like, oh, well, we already got our guy. We're just promoting from within. Now there's a UM opening because I was on the UM beat before that.
Right.
We promote from within there too.
Right, exactly. But I mean, it's just sometimes you just want to hire the person that fits what you do, and it's not about the color. Now, and outside of sports, it does play a hell of a lot more. But in sports, I would tell you, it's a lot less about color. It's about they just winning, dude.
Results. Yep.
Yeah, dude. They
results-based industry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure to nail the hire with the right person, regardless of who it is, because I mean, ownership is going to feel it from the fans. General managers and coaches feel it from the ownership, the CEO. So we don't.
Why is it that the Cowboys wanted Deion Sanders? He's black. No. He's Deion Sanders. He's a badass. He gravitates. He's a winner. That's what they wanted. It's not because he's black.
Right.
It's nothing to do with it. Right. You know what I mean? It has to do with it's freaking Deion Sanders. That's why Colorado wanted him. It's like, no, let's go. Let's give him the world and pull him out of Jackson State. Had nothing to do with color. It had to do with the standing he's earned as a coach. It's like, okay, he's a hell of a coach. He could be a hell of a recruiter. He could sell the hell out of our program. Let's go. Because how many Deion Sanders exist? Very few of them. And it has nothing to do with color. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes we get a little too crazy on the sports side because it does happen in the rest of the world a lot. But I just thought I find it kind of interesting.
And for the Cowboys,
so what happens?
He's a personality to deal with Jerry Jones.
Exactly. Yeah, but he's not a yes man. That's why he's never going to take that job. Kellen Moore sounds more like a guy that would be perfect for that role, where he's just not going to be very combative, and he could just coach, and he just has to deal with the owner, and he's been there already. So again, not about color, about culture. He's been there. He fits the yes man mentality that you got to have to be a coach for the Cowboys. That's not Deion.
And the Cowboys will just be in the same cycle then.
That's what Jerry wants. Kellen Moore will get that job. You'll see.
Whereas if it were someone like Primetime, then I think they would have a chance, because then there would be a voice. And also Jerry Jones, there's a mutual respect where maybe if they do clash a little bit, Jerry Jones there might be like some mutual respect where he gives way to Deion and says,
okay. I know that's why it never will happen, because he won't give way, and Deion will not have it that way.
Right.
He's not going to have it where he has the owner doing a separate press conference and questioning shit or ripping or whatever. Deion's not going to have any of that, dude. He's not going to have any. He's not a yes man. He was never going to take that job. Kellen Moore sounds like the puppet type. That's what Jerry needs. He needs once he got through Jimmy and Parcells, from there on, he's had the puppet guy. He's had the guy that really isn't the strong personality guy. You know what I mean? And that's kind of who they're going to go. So let me ask you something. What happens if Weaver leaves? What do you see happening?
For the Dolphins, well, first and foremost, I would have Robert Saleh immediately go to the forefront of the defensive coordinator search. Obviously, the history with Mike McDaniel, they were together on the staff in San Francisco, and then have since maintained a strong relationship competing in the AFC East together. You would always see them pregame, having their moments, shaking hands, when they're mic'd up, always joking around with each other. So you could tell they still have a close bond. Mike McDaniel wouldn't even speak on it, as he shouldn't. When I asked him for the first Jets meeting, what he thought of how it all went down with Saleh getting fired over there, I mean, as he should, because you shouldn't really speak on what's going on at any other franchise, especially one in your division. But I try to see if I can get something out of him. And So I mean, Robert Saleh would be my first choice, and then if not, I mean, hey, the Dolphins have had defensive coordinator searches every other offseason since Mike has been here. So you just circle it back again, and a lot of those same names, a lot of those same other candidates would be there, but Saleh would be at the top of my list.
Okay. All right. Any other names that you might think of that could be in that position? Because they may not end up getting Saleh.
Yeah, what you're thinking if he ends up? I know he's interviewing for a couple of head coaching jobs, like what was it, the Jaguars or one of them. But hey, could it be a Brandon Staley? Brandon Staley was interviewing last year, and who else? Was where's Ajiro Everett? Hmm?
That's a good name. Brandon Staley could be one.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is. Where's Brandon? Did Brandon Staley get any work last year anywhere? Or maybe he's enjoying his.
He went to the 49ers actually. So then he ended up going to Kyle Shanahan.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's right.
He got assistant head coach as his role, as his position.
All right, because man, I'm that's one move that I'm a little concerned with, because I think the Weaver move could be one that it could be coming. I think that guy's going to get hired from somebody, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, the two interviews that he got on the front end were Bears and Saints, and then now Bears are eliminated from that because they just hired Ben Johnson. So, but the Saints, now he's a finalist for it. The other guy apparently is Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. I know we went on a whole tangent when I mentioned that Aaron Glenn's name was getting thrown around. They're talking to him, but assuming Aaron Glenn does go to the Jets, then I mean, if it's just I haven't seen other names. Is it just Giants Mike Kafka? Then yeah, I mean, Weaver would seem to me, at least, you know, I'm not too familiar with Kafka, but it would seem to me like the front runner there.
Mm-hmm. What are you hearing about special teams?
Yeah, I mean, not too much right now. We did just see there was a team that hired a special teams coordinator, Fossil, just yesterday, wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, I feel like special teams generally it just goes on for a little bit longer. Once some of the other dominoes fall, I think maybe we might see something, but. As far as names, yeah, if you can help me out, I haven't heard any names from around the league.
Well, some people think Darren Rizzi, but there's zero chance that Darren Rizzi.
Yeah.
He's getting head coaching what's it called, interviews.
It would be lovely, but
yeah, and if he doesn't get a head coach, I think he goes to Denver. I think he goes to Denver to be the assistant head coach there in special teams for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
That's just, he was with him before, and I don't think he'll come here, by the way. And I don't think Mike McDaniel will want a guy that probably is a better coach than he is. So, you know, that might be an issue for, even though he needs a special teams coach. Because of this situation, I also don't think Darren Rizzi will come here too. But I think he ends up in Denver if he doesn't get that head coaching job.
I don't think Mike McDaniel is afraid to hire someone who is a threat per se in that regard, if you would say, because I mean, people will say the same thing about Anthony Weaver, and Mike McDaniel will hire the best guy that he can. Like, felt the same way about Fangio the year before.
Now he's on the hot seat. He wasn't on the hot seat.
He wasn't on the hot seat then.
Yeah. He was very comfortable with what he was doing. Number one offense, going to the playoffs. This year, put him on the hot seat. And so going into next year, since you are on the hot seat, you may not want to hire the guy that could be your interim head coach. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. He was very comfortable in the press conference to say, I'm the best man to call the offense. Basically shitting on everybody else that's next to him. And instead of saying, you know, we got a lot of great coaches here. I got immense respect for Frank Smith. He could easily call this offense. But right now, I just feel comfortable right now. And I know Frank could do a hell of a job, but I just want to finish this and get this done. Something like that. But the way he phrased it, I'm the best guy for the job. I'm just saying, doesn't sound like a guy that's going to bring in another guy that could be the guy that replaces him, like Joe Philbin got replaced. Like, who did Bates replace? I forgot. Was it Wanstead? Yeah, Wanstead. That kind of shit. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out.
Here's where Mike gets himself a little bit in trouble with that statement, is that's also then an indictment on your offensive staff.
Yes.
Or also it's either that or your judgment of your staff, because then why are you retaining everyone aside from Wes Welker and obviously Danny Crossman on the special team side, but on your offensive staff, you made the move on Wes Welker, but then how come if you don't have an OC, or like Darryl Bevell has done this a lot too. He's been an OC right, yeah. Mike McDaniel only has 1 year of offensive coordinator experience before he got this job, and now has 3 years as a head coach, play calling for these 3 years. He wasn't a play calling OC before then, like Frank Smith isn't now. So then, one way or another, then there's a shortcoming in one direction or another.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. What do you got going on in the Sentinel?
Yeah, let's see. I got some stories that I'll be rolling out. I will probably be writing on an interview I did with Jeff Wilson at the end of the season, where his mind stands as he goes into free agency after a year where with the Dolphins struggling in short yardage, he didn't get too many opportunities, whether he feels he can come back here or might need to find something elsewhere. And a couple of the undrafted rookies that made the team, kind of their perspective after year one. Storm Duck, after he played plenty at corner, and also this offensive lineman, Andrew Meyer, who was just kind of kept on the roster. Get to see where he's at, as he didn't play his whole rookie year, and he's kind of like a developmental prospect that the Dolphins clearly thought highly of if they kept him without really playing him and just used a roster spot from him on him all year. So check those out this week.
Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
You got it. And Welt Rheaume, we love talking about Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Folks, if you're dealing right now with maybe, an insurance company that isn't doing their job, you're unhappy with this representation that you've got going on right now, maybe an incident happened to you a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, and you're not sure if you have a case and you never found out, pick up the phone. The consultation's free. Jeff Welt, great listener. Daniel Rheaume, absolutely amazing lawyer. 954-966-4646. Jeff Welt will walk into that courtroom and will crush the opponent. That's what it's all about, baby, and defend you. He will crush that insurance company. He will crush whoever it is on that side. Call my guy, Jeff Welt. Call my guy, Daniel Rheaume. They know how to get it done. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.